Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Afghan Beat. Our mission here is to help Afghans realize their full potential through edifying programs that highlight Afghan talent and success across the globe, raise awareness to pertinent issues, and prove inspirational to our younger generation. We had the pleasure of interviewing a young Afghan American woman whose energy and determination has made her one of the most active Afghans in the community. Layma Murtaza currently serves as a public servant for the California State Assembly and as a district representative for a local assembly member. She received her bachelor's degree from UC Davis in 2005 with a dual degree in political science and religious studies. She then completed her master's in global public policy with an emphasis on migration and refugee studies at the American University in Cairo last year in 2012. Layma has been recognized for her work as a community organizer, promoting civic engagement and cultural awareness, and creating a voice for both Afghans and Afghan Americans. Thank you. Please enjoy. So Layma, how long have you lived in the United States for?
I have basically lived in the United States all of my life. I was born here and I have been part of the Tri-City area within the Bay Area since then.
And how did your family immigrate to the United States?
My mother left the country during the prime of the 1979 invasion, the Soviet invasion. And she left with her brother on the plane, and it was a very secret mission that they had to do to leave to go to Washington, D.C. Because at that time my grandfather was a UN diplomat from Afghanistan to the U.S.
So I understand you went to UC Davis, you studied in political science and religious studies, and then you decided to leave the country to go to Cairo to get your master's in global public policy at the American University over there. This was all during the beginning of the revolution. Can you tell us a little about that experience?
The revolution itself impacted me because it was the first time I had ever been in a conflict zone situation. It was the first time I saw people as a whole country getting together and for a common cause. Basically, they wanted change in their country. They saw that there was a problem and they got the answer that they wanted. They disposed of the former President Mubarak. And that taught me that you can do that anywhere with a common goal. You can collaborate with people who have the same mission and values and get something really strong accomplished. And that is just such an exciting lesson to learn anywhere you're at.
Wow, that's amazing how you're part of all that and you pretty much had first-hand experience. And I know before visiting Cairo, you were pretty active in the community here in the Bay Area. And speaking of that, how long have you been active in the community and what made you want to get active?
I have probably been active for a while. I remember being 15 years old and my dad taking me to a protest in San Francisco against the Taliban, or basically being involved in small local projects like the Afghan Widows Project, sending money to different widows in Afghanistan, working on different projects, whether it was teaching new immigrant women how to use the computer or technology or English lessons. I've also helped out with Foundation for Self-Reliance. It was a wonderful program that was, embracing youth leadership and helping our community here. And so I've always had my hand in something. I've always really cared about the community.
Layma, I've personally known you for a very long time and I'm proud to say that you're a really good friend and you're a very, very hard worker, and I've noticed that. And I just want you to tell everybody what drives you, what inspires you, what makes you want to wake up every day and do what you do. What's your secret?
I have probably 3 good answers for you, and they don't work together individually. They work together all together. My grandfather is probably one of my biggest inspirations. He worked in Afghanistan for his entire life, even before he passed away. There's a great story that my grandmother tells that hours before he passed away, she found him sitting on the couch in the living room talking to the air in front of him, and my grandmother said, "Tabibi, who are you talking to?" And he said, "There's children sitting in front of me. And I'm telling them, oh youth, rebuild your country, go back and help, build museums, repair your war-torn country." And that sticks with me every day. So in America, we have all these opportunities and whether they're small opportunities, it's health insurance, being able to have a job that pays $10 an hour, whether it's being able to be around different community resources. We have it. And as much as people in Afghanistan think that we have everything, we still don't when it comes to community, when it comes to unity, and we have so much to work on. So that's why in that aspect, Afghan Americans need to come together. So we had the opportunity to come to America and get those, but we still have people suffering. And so all of those different 3 reasons make up why I want to give back, and it's kind of, you know, naturally embedded. And I think anyone who has that small place in their mind that I want to give back, it's now time to give back, because if you don't do anything, who will?
Wow, that's very inspirational. I think that's something that a lot of us could learn from, and I really like the story about your grandpa, and inshallah he's in a better place now. And you know, it comes to my next question. What do you currently feel about the state of the Afghans here in the United States, specifically in Fremont, and the Afghan youth?
I think that while there has been progress with the youth, depending on what age group you're talking about, maybe from 20s to early 30s, there's been a lot of professional development that has occurred. People are now becoming lawyers and doctors and businessmen, and it's really good to see that people are getting higher educations. But at the same time, there's not enough unity, and there's not enough collaboration, and a lot of people kind of shy away from helping the Afghan community because they've seen a lot of projects start up and then go down again and nothing ever happened. There has been progress, it's not enough, and there's still room to develop. Regarding the youth under maybe 20, I think there's a lack of leadership, and they need people to look up to help them with college writing, to figure out where they want to go to and what direction, and helping with even family counseling and different things, being part of a culture that's dual, Afghan and American, trying to keep their identity and culture.
So it sounds like there definitely has been some progression, but there's room for a lot more. And you being involved in the Afghan community so heavily, have you seen a huge change from the past 10 years? And do you see, where do you see the Afghan community 10 years from now? How do you feel about that?
Have I seen a lot of change in the past 10 years? I would say not as much as there could be. Looking at different immigrant communities, like the Indian community or Chinese community, they're a lot more put together, they're more civically engaged, they have a lot more classes and courses and events happening within their community, and they reach more of a broader network, and I think we can do that too. I think it's a really exciting time right now that we have our young professionals who have skills that we can collaborate on, and we can do so much. We have someone working in the senator's office locally. I work for the local assembly member. We have good relations with Congress members, and we can use those all to our advantage. And really what we need to know that there is a strength in numbers. There is power in numbers for multiple ways, and really working on getting people together is what we need. And it's putting in a little bit of work, each of us, in a large capacity that can move us forward. It's not taking 10 hours out of your week. It's everyone taking 2 hours. And that you don't know, but those little hours make such a difference in the bigger picture.
There was an Afghan town hall meeting earlier in this year, and because of this town hall meeting, you know, some people came, they didn't spend that much time, but there was something really big that resulted in this Afghan town hall meeting, and that would be the Afghan American Council. Could you tell me a little bit about that, and what's your guys' goals, what's your mission?
The Afghan Town Hall event was actually asked by Congressman Swalwell and Assemblymember Bill Quirk to have, because they wanted to create a relationship with the Afghan community in the Bay Area, within Fremont, Union City, the Tri-City area. Through that event is when the Afghan American Council was organically born. And what happened was that a community member stayed after the meeting, which was a 2-hour meeting, and said, we want to help our community. How do we do this? We don't want to be silent anymore. We want to give back, and we want to make sure that our opinions are heard. And so through that initiative, that first time meeting, 20 people stayed after, and every 2 weeks we've been meeting, and we've been trying to figure out what are the gaps in the community, how can we fill that, how can we help out. All of these different resources that we have in terms of skills and our professional network and how we can use it to an advantage. So we have events lined up in the future that we want to help launch this initiative. We have an Afghan networking summit that we're going to be creating soon. We're collaborating with other organizations like Afghan Beat that want to help the health and mindset of Afghan Americans. We want to make sure that all of our organizations are collaborating together and creating a unified movement, because that is what is going to create the strength of us. We have all the capabilities of creating it, but we need the commitment and dedication from our community members.
It looks like AAC is a strong movement, but you're not leaving it at that. I heard that you're taking the movement to the heart of America. Did you get invited to the White House? Did that really happen?
This is a great story of how networking among Afghan Americans works. Sohaila Aziz was an intern there this summer with the Public Outreach Committee with the White House, and she was able to organize an Afghan roundtable event, and I was one of the people invited because I'm involved with AAC. And through that, we were able to meet with high officials working on foreign policy in Afghanistan and also within immigrant communities. So there are about 25 of us or 30 of us who got together and were able to listen and discuss different foreign policy issues that are happening in Afghanistan and what the US's role is. These are all very important for our community to know, because we still have half of our heart there in Afghanistan and we still care about what's going on. But to keep this relationship, what we're going to need to do is show them, the White House officials and U.S. representatives, that we have unity and we have strength and we have power together. As of now, I don't think we have that. We have the potential to grow so much more, and that's what we need to work on. And this is really how we will be able to continue to go to the White House, continue to be invited, and that's eventually what we want, to have a say of how foreign policy in Afghanistan is and how we are here in America.
You know what, that leads me to ask you, Afghanistan. I've been wanting to go back to Afghanistan and help out. I'm sure all of us have. As for yourself, do you have any aspirations of going back to Afghanistan? Is there anything holding you back? I know the U.S. is going to be taking their troops out very soon, security-wise. What is it that you want to do if you do want to go back?
Absolutely. I had the pleasure of going back to Afghanistan last year. I went through a program with the American University of Afghanistan. It was a 5-week course, but I was able to live in a guest house. I was able to speak with high-ranking officials with different NGOs. I was able to go to Bamyan. I was able to go to Istalif and Panjshir and all these places that your parents talk about, but you have always just thought that were stories. And I had one of the best experiences that I've ever had, and I would definitely recommend this program to other Afghan Americans who have not had the opportunity to see their country. And it was probably one of, I felt very secure. We had guards, we were with people that knew the area, and mainly we were based in Kabul, which is a lot more secure than other regions. Do I have aspirations to go and help out in Afghanistan? Absolutely. I think that I have actually tried to find many jobs there at that time, but at my skill level or my education wasn't ready for it. So really what I'm working on at this point is to get the Afghan American community really strong, that in the future what we can do is create a bridge between countries so that we can have relations and labor programs, jobs, availability, so we can have a stronger connection together. So absolutely, anytime that I can go, and we have institutes here, we have organizations here that give back to Afghanistan, and we need to make sure that we find a way to come together.
Layma, on the behalf of the Afghan Beat, we would like to thank you very much for providing your time to us. We know you're very busy and there's a lot on your plate, so we're very, very appreciative of that.
Thank you to the Afghan Beat for having me today. My name is Layma Murtaza, and you can reach me at murtaza.layma@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook at Layma Tabibi. And I just want to say, if it's not you, then who?